Hi, and welcome back to the channel. Here we read the strangest Reddit stories while playing Minecraft in the background. Let's get into the first story. Story from John. I live alone in a small apartment on the fourth floor of an old brick building. It's the kind of place where the radiators clank at night and the hallway lights flicker just enough to make you walk a little faster. I never minded it much. Old buildings have quirks. That's what I told myself anyway. It started on a Tuesday. I was watching TV, some late-night rerun, when the screen cut to static for half a second. Not the whole show, just a flicker, like something interrupted the signal and then let go. I didn't think anything of it. Old wiring, I figured. It happened again the next night, and the next. Always around 11:40 p.m., always for exactly 2 seconds. I started watching for it, waiting for it, and that's when I noticed something that made my stomach drop. In the static, just for a frame or two, there was a shape, a man standing still, facing the camera, facing me. I told myself it was a glitch, compression artifacts maybe, or a reflection off the screen. I even recorded it on my phone one night, slowed it down frame by frame. The shape was there. Tall, thin, no real features, just the suggestion of a person standing in a room that wasn't my room, on the other side of a screen that had no business showing anything but static. I stopped watching TV after 11 p.m. That helped, for a while. Then it started appearing in other places. My phone screen when it locked, just a flicker, there and gone, but I saw him, standing in the reflection of my dark phone screen, right behind where I should have been reflected, except I wasn't in frame at all, just him. I called my sister. She lived 2 states away, and I didn't expect her to believe me, but I needed to say it out loud to someone. She listened, quiet, and then she said something that made my blood run cold. She said our grandmother used to talk about a man in the walls, said it was a family thing, going back generations, said grandma always kept salt on the windowsills and never explained why. I didn't have salt. I had a phone full of grainy footage of a shape that shouldn't exist. 3 nights later, I woke up at 3 a.m. to the sound of my TV turning on by itself. I hadn't touched the remote. I hadn't touched anything. The room was dark, except for the blue static glow spilling across the walls, and I lay there frozen, telling myself to get up, to unplug it, to do anything. I got up, I walked toward the TV, and the static resolved, not into a show, not into anything that made sense, into him, standing there filling the screen, so close I could see he had no eyes, just smooth skin where eyes should be, and a mouth that was moving, forming words I couldn't hear. I unplugged the TV, the screen went black, and in the black glass for just a second before the residual charge faded, I saw him standing behind me, in my room, reflected in the dead screen. I turned around. Nothing was there. I moved out 3 weeks later. New apartment, new city, no TV in the bedroom. I thought that was the end of it. Last week, my new roommate handed me her phone to show me a video. She said the screen glitched while she was filming her cat. Just for a second, she said. Probably nothing. I watched it. Static, 2 seconds, and then a shape in the corner of the frame. Tall, thin, facing the camera. I haven't told her yet. I don't know how. We have second story from Smith. When my husband and I bought the farmhouse, the realtor mentioned, almost as an afterthought, that the previous family had left suddenly. She said it like it was a footnote, not a warning. We should have asked more questions. We didn't, because the house was beautiful and cheap, and we were 26 and in love and didn't believe old houses could hold on to anything except dust. The first strange thing was small, a photograph on the mantle, not ours. We hadn't put anything up yet, of a family we didn't recognize. 2 parents, 3 kids, standing in front of the same porch we now owned. I asked my husband if he'd found it in a box somewhere. He said he'd never seen it before either. We threw it away. It was back on the mantle the next morning. We laughed about it at first, said maybe the movers had missed a box, that maybe we'd overlooked it and just assumed. We threw it away twice more. Twice more it returned. The third time my husband burned it in the fireplace. We watched it curl and blacken and turn to ash. The next morning, it was on the mantle again, whole, unburned, the family staring out at us like nothing had happened. That's when we started noticing the other things. Doors that we'd left open, closed. Footsteps upstairs when we were both downstairs. A cold spot in the hallway that never warmed, no matter the season. My husband said it was our imagination, feeding off each other's nerves. I wanted to believe him. Then, 3 months in, our daughter was born, and the house changed. It got quieter somehow, watchful. I'd catch myself standing in the nursery doorway at 2 a.m., not remembering walking there, my daughter asleep and fine, but the air in the room thick and wrong. I started sleeping with the baby monitor turned up too loud, straining to hear anything, and some nights I did. A voice, low, humming something that wasn't quite a lullaby. Never words, just a tune over and over, always stopping the second I opened the nursery door. I finally called the realtor, and pushed harder this time. Asked what happened to the family that left. She was quiet for a long moment before she told me. The family who'd lived there before had a daughter too. She died in that nursery, in her crib, when she was 4 months old. No clear cause. The mother never left the house after that. Not really, not in any way that counted. The father eventually moved the rest of the family out, alone in the middle of the night, and never came back for the furniture. I hung up the phone and stood very still in my kitchen, and I understood all at once that the humming wasn't a warning. It was an invitation. That night I heard it again, clearer than before, coming from the nursery. I didn't open the door. I stood in the hallway with my hand flat against the wood, and I felt it, a small cold palm pressing back from the other side, matching mine, finger for finger. We moved out within the month. We left almost everything behind, including the photograph, which I imagine is still sitting on that mantle, waiting for the next family to throw it away. I think about that cold little hand more than I'd like to admit. I think about how it matched mine so exactly, like it had been practicing, like it had done this before, with other hands in other years, and would go on doing it long after we were gone. The final and last story of the day, story by Christian. There's an old rule my grandfather taught me when I was a kid, something he swore by, something he made me promise to remember. Never knock on a door 3 times in the woods. If you hear 3 knocks answered, don't answer back. And if something knocks a 4th time, you run and you don't look behind you, no matter what it sounds like. I thought it was just one of his stories. He had a lot of them, mountain superstitions passed down from his own father, the kind of thing you nod along to and forget by morning. I forgot it for 20 years actually, until the night I was driving home through the back roads near his old cabin, and my car died on me. No warning, just silence and darkness a mile from the nearest house. I got out to check the engine, useless as that was, and that's when I heard it. 3 knocks, slow and deliberate, coming from somewhere in the tree line. Not on wood, not on anything I could place. Just 3 knocks, evenly spaced, hanging in the cold air. My grandfather's voice came back to me so clearly, it was like he was standing next to me. Don't answer. I didn't. I stood by my dead car with my heart slamming against my ribs, and I waited. And after a long moment, I heard it again. 3 knocks. Closer this time. I got back in the car and locked the doors, which felt useless and necessary at the same time. I sat there in the dark, and the knocking came a 3rd time, right outside my window, close enough that I felt the vibration of it through the glass. I didn't look. I stared straight ahead at the dashboard, and I did not look. Then it stopped, and for a moment I let myself believe it was over. That's when I heard the 4th knock. It didn't come from outside the car, it came from the back seat. I don't remember starting the engine. I don't remember how a dead battery turned over on the first try, or how I got back onto the main road, or how I made it the 11 miles to my sister's house without once looking in the rearview mirror. What I remember is the sound that followed me the whole way, not knocking anymore, but breathing, slow and even, matching my own breath exactly, like it was learning the rhythm of me. I told my sister everything when I got there, shaking too hard to hold a cup of coffee. She went pale in a way I'd never seen before, and she told me something our grandfather never had. The 4th knock isn't a warning, it's a claim. It means whatever answered has decided you're worth following, and it doesn't stop at the tree line. It follows you home, and it waits, and eventually it knocks a 5th time. That was 2 years ago. I still haven't heard a 5th knock, but I check my back seat every single time before I get in the car, and some nights, when the house is quiet, I swear I can still hear something breathing, slow and even, just outside my window. Patiently keeping time with mine, I never told my grandfather what happened, for passed away 6 months later. At the funeral, my sister leaned over and whispered that in his final days, alone in his room at night, he kept telling the nurses to stop knocking, There was no one at his door. If you got any stories, please mail me. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications. A new horror story drops soon. Let me know in the comments which story tonight got under your skin the most. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you in the next video.